language is in that arena. And we're going to write down some principal things that we need to understand that become the parameters that enable you to express yourself fluently in that new area. You wouldn't go to Germany and not learn some of the language, at least some of it. You wouldn't go to Mexico and not learn some level of Spanish, or you wouldn't be able to get around. You wouldn't go to Paris and not learn some degree of French, and you wouldn't go to Next if you don't learn some degree of articulation of speech and nimbleness of wit that enables you to be able to engage in a conversation that prepares you for what is about to happen next in your life. I really, really believe in this age where people can just click a button and turn you off. If you are stuck to the screen, that there's something inside of you that is being germinated, that is being prepared, that's being invigorated, that's being fertilized, that's being motivated, because you know that 2023 is supposed to be your year. And don't be afraid to type on the line, 2023 is my year. My year doesn't mean that I won't have any problems. My year doesn't mean that I won't be attacked. My year doesn't mean that I won't have grief. My year doesn't mean that I won't have trouble. My year doesn't mean that I won't go through trauma, but it does mean that I won't go through anything that will stop me from moving forward with my agenda. I have an agenda for this year. I have some goals for this year. I have some things that I want to see happen for this year, and my actions must line up with my words. If I'm talking one thing and my actions are doing something else, I will never get to my destination. People talking about if you're going to go to LA or go across the country, you're going to need a map. The road map must be an alignment between your actions and your speech. Your speech must be progressive and your actions must be progressive, even if it comes at the expense of annoying some people who are uncomfortable with you evolving and going to the next level. You have to decide, do you want to be liked, or do you want to progress into what is next for you? And do you have the courage to be authentic, even if you can't be described in a simple sentence? There is something mighty important, mighty great that is about to occur. If an eagle looks beside himself and sees another bird flying, he knows immediately that it is not a blue jay and it is not a sparrow, and he knows immediately that it is not a chicken. To fly at the height of eagles, the velocity has to be high enough that you have to be an eagle too. You might be stuck in a chicken coop right now, but if you're an eagle, your wings eventually are going to spread to the degree that you will not allow yourself to be entrapped by your current environment. I think I'm talking to eagles. I do not think I'm talking to chickens. You might be in a chicken coop, but you are not one of them. You might be with them, but you are not one of them. If you were one of them, you would have cut this off a long time ago. There is something inside of you that says there's more in me than what you see. So let's talk like it. Let's dress like it. Let's stand like it. Let's read like it. Let's ingest all the information that is necessary to be fluent in the areas that we're evolving to. Let's friend like it. Let's friend up. Let's help down. Let's serve down, but let's friend up so that you have the duality of being a feeder and being fed. If everybody in your life needs you, and there's nobody in your life that feeds you, you're going to become bankrupt in your ability to speak, in your ability to think, and in your ability to move. Paralysis is going to set in. Frustration is going to set in, because you are in an environment where you are the king of nothingness, and everybody in your life is coming to you for answers. You want to get in a room that allows for expansion and the language of expansion and the thoughts of expansion. You want to get into a room that challenges you, that makes you a reader, that makes you a leader, that makes you a thinker, that introduces you into new rooms and new cultures and new foods and new mindsets, because we do not live in vacuums anymore. We don't just live in our neighborhood anymore. When we post anything, when we tweet anything, when we say anything, we are ambassadors globally every time we speak up. Currency in America affects Great Britain, affects Africa, affects Australia, affects Barbados. Currency flows, language flows, content flows, information flows. And so you've got to think globally, and you've got to speak globally, and you've got to listen globally so that you understand what's going on in your next. If you're not finding it in your neighborhood, it might be in your next. If you're rejected in your neighborhood, it might be in your next. If your family doesn't get it, it might be in your next evolution. Don't be upset if the people next door don't believe in your dream. They may not be the people that you are sent to. But find your audience and think globally and broad enough and big enough that you can evolve into the person you were created to be. Hear me and hear me good. If you've got a vision that you can fulfill by yourself, it's not worthy of you. If you've got a passion that you can do all by yourself, it is not worthy of you. If you've got a dream of expansion and you can handle it all by yourself, it is not worthy of you. And so this notion of I'm going to get there by myself and I'm going to own 100% of a dime rather than 50% of a million, it does not serve you well. You've got to trust somebody. You've got to move. You've got to embark. You've got to have the passion to go into new dimensions and think in such powerful ways that you do not drop the mic. Hear me good. The mic is in your hand. The potential is in your hand. The world has turned its head to hear what you have to say, believe it or not. Every time you post, every time you speak, every time you say something, the world is listening. If you don't believe that the world is listening, just say something wrong. They'll let you know real quick that the world is listening. They may not always like your page. They may not always respond to what you put on Instagram, but they are noticing you. The world has turned its head to hear what you have to say. Be sure your gun is loaded. Be sure your powder's dry. Be sure your aim is good. Be sure your feet are planted straight on the floor. Be sure that when you hold your head and your back up straight, that I get a sense not only of where you are, but where you're going. I do not despise where I came from. I love where I came from. I do not regret what I've been through. It took everything I've been through to get me to where I am. But I am not so in love with where I have been that I have let go of where I am going. I get up out of the bed every morning, getting ready for next, talking about next. What do I need to do? What can I use this day to help me become better at, more fluent at, more effective at, more vibrant at? That's what causes the passion, the adrenaline to flow through your veins. That's what causes you to be interesting to talk to. Nobody wants to hear you bellyache about what all went wrong. Somebody wants to hear that hope inside of you about what is about to happen in your life. Nobody invests in bankruptcy. So we have got to get out of the gutter and the poverty of speech into the flamboyance and the rambunctious of possibilities, and to engage people in such a way that they are inspired, that they are invigorated, that they are motivated, and that they begin to understand that you have a mic, you have a voice, you have a thought, you have a contribution. You are part of a global conversation that embraces all types of people from all walks of life, with clarity of thought and nimbleness of mind, that you have been called for such a time as this, and step into the center of your destiny with tenacity and courage. Though your stomach might be fluttering, your back must be straight and your head must be held high, and everything that you have ingested with your ear culminates in the next statement that is about to come out of your mouth. Your words are important. Your speech is important. Your stance is important. Your diction is important. Your clarity is important. Your goals are important, and they have to be bigger than all about you. It has to be all about us, because nobody is going to invest in you until you care about us. As I close this time that I've had to talk to you today, I want you to know that you have the mic. That's why I'm saying don't drop the mic. It's not in the other guy's hands. It's not just in the rich and famous. It's not just in the high and mighty. You have the mic. The mic is influence. And whether it's over your house or your children or just your community or your staff or your employees, the mic is in your hand. And that is the rudder that steers the ship this way or that way. If it's going to happen in your life, it must first happen in your mouth. As you speak it, as you declare it, as you give voice to it, as you put it out over and over and over again, you shall have whatever you say. You won't have whatever I say. You won't have what your enemies say. You won't have what your haters say. You won't have what the people who are detractors say. Stop giving so much power to them. You shall have whatever you say. So as we come to this junction, as we come to this moment, as we come to this close, the ears of the world are open to hear what you are about to say. Rise up to the mic, rise up to the challenge, and open your mouth and clear your throat and speak your next instead of your now. The language of tomorrow must be developed while you are still standing in your today. And if you do that, your children will rise up and call you blessed. And all of those who invested their time, energy, talent, and skill set in supporting your dream will benefit from your tenacity, your articulation, your invigoration, your motivation, and your fervency of speech. Oh, I'm so excited. I can see you there. I can see you in the future. And you look much better than you do right now. So let's start talking in our next and handle what is in our now, knowing that weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Embrace the morning. The night will pass over you. I am T.D. Jakes. I am the CEO of T.D. Jakes Enterprises. I am the CEO of T.D. Jakes Real Estate Ventures. I'm the chairman of the T.D. Jakes Foundation. I am the senior pastor of the Potter's House. I am the father of 5 children. I am the husband of 1 wife. And I am proud to be a speaker on this prestigious platform to have an opportunity to talk to this august body of listeners and to give you an opportunity to evolve to your highest and your best use. Use this opportunity. May it outlive me. May it outlast me. May it be converted into the way you look at the world. And if so, then my living and my moments with you have not been in vain. I pray that the richest and most choice blessings would rest upon you. And I pray that you would make it your business to learn a new lingo every day that embraces where you're going. And I invite you to be a part of our good soil and join in with us. If you're on the bottom level and you need somebody to pour into you, I'm raising up entrepreneurs. And I believe that together we can grow to the next level. And when it's all said and when it's all done, we'll get to the 1%. But some of us, I'm dealing with people who are still at the 30% and at the 40% so that you can evolve to the 1%. It does not matter where you start, my friend. It only matters where you finish.